Tonight we're doing another breakfast for dinner type meal, and I don't know if I invented it, probably not, but I really don't know what I call it, but I kind of call it like it's like a breakfast stir fry, sort of, if you will, or I just call it like a breakfast mess. What it is just potatoes, like diced potatoes with onion, and then bacon, and then there's garlic in there, and I kind of cook them all separately at first, just to get them kind of started, and then I combine them and I make it into like a kind of like what you would know as a stir fry, I guess, and it's a real heavy kind of. This would be a good hangover breakfast. So, not that you feel like cooking if you're hungover, but if you do, this is a good one. So we'll get it started. First thing to go down. Well, first thing to go down is going to be some canola oil. Let this guy spread up a little bit. And then we're going to go potatoes. There's garlic as well in here. Just a bunch of crushed garlic. Oops, off the potato. That's alright. And if anybody has a flat top that has tried to cook nice home browns, like home fries kind of, it can be a little bit of a trick. Basically what you do is try to get it all oil over all of them. What I like to do is go down with some butter, 2 good sized pads, hit it with some pepper and paprika. It looks pretty good. And to soften up the potatoes so that they're able to crisp up but not still be hard in the middle, you kind of have to steam them. So we're going to go ahead and dome those for right now. All these burners are on low. In fact, I'm going to turn this one off because I am going to be cooking a couple eggs up over here later. I just don't want them to get too hot. In the meantime, worst case, this can be my cooling zone. So what we'll do now is, while those are starting up, basically I just took about half a pound of bacon and I cut it into thirds and I separated it just because it breaks up a lot nicer. It's a lot easier to cook that way. So just kind of drop that on there. Bacon for this one, it's not meant to be good looking. It's just meant to be for flavor. We are going to try to retain as much of the bacon grease as possible for the potatoes. Really get a lot of good flavor in there. So you don't have to worry about everything curling up and making a big bacony mess is kind of what we're going for on this one. And then since this is the cooler spot, just for now, usually you would wait. If this was really hot over here, you would wait to put these on. But since this is going to be a little bit cooler, we're going to go ahead and put the onions on there. Let those, I like kind of crispy onions, so it's kind of okay for me if they overcook a little bit, because that's kind of the whole point. Get these guys tossed around. Anytime I cook onions on the flat top, I definitely like to add butter, not a ton, and pepper. I'm not going to add any salt to this meal. A, I don't like things too salty, and B, the bacon will provide a lot of that type of flavor for you. Get these onions over here. If you're ready to The onions might be ready to kind of fold in with the bacon and the other stuff a little bit sooner than I thought, which is fine. Let's go ahead and check up on our potatoes. See how those are going, give them a turn. Those are looking pretty good. Getting a nice color to them. I can feel with my spatula here that they are definitely getting a little bit soft, which is good. I'm not going to bother messing with the heat as of right now, because as it is, this burner, these three burners are on low. Nicely browned potatoes are good. Burnt potatoes, not good. So don't do that. Another kind of trick I happen to learn, and this is just for my particular flat top, is that if anything's ever kind of overcooking or a little bit done sooner than what you want it to be, I happen to know that the whole front edge of my flat top is definitely cooler than like from here back, is where most of the heat ends up. The burners really don't go all the way to the front, meaning like the actual burner tube doesn't go all the way to the front, so because of that, this is cooler. So that sounds like it's kind of a bad thing, but instead we can take it to our advantage and move things that we want to keep just warm but not actually keep cooking towards the front, because there is definitely residual heat here. It's not like it's cold to the touch or anything, but like if this bacon gets done a little bit sooner than I had anticipated and I'm not ready to combine everything just yet, that's fine. I can just move it to the front, it'll stay warm, but it won't really keep cooking. So that's just one trick. Get these onions turned up nice. What I am going to do is combine these two for right now. That bacon is looking not quite done, not crispy yet, which is fine, because I want to be able to get all the flavors together. So I don't want to wait until it's already crispy, because I still have cooking time after that, and I don't want to burn it. So these are together. I'm going to help it out a little bit. Get some more canola oil. If you're oil conscious, and like, you know, you like using butter and stuff like that, because I don't know, like cholesterol or whatever, then flat tops probably just aren't for you. Then that's fine too. Take a look at the potatoes. Oh yeah, those are looking nice. Those are looking real nice. Where'd that one go? There it is. So we're pretty much at the stage. Yeah, we're pretty much at the stage. So we're gonna combine all this stuff together. I'm gonna put my basting dome over off to the side. Don't really need it anymore. And we're gonna stir fry all this stuff. See that little crisp that this onion kind of got on it? That's kind of what you're looking for. I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick that up, but that's kind of the color we're looking for on the onions. That should be at this stage. So once they turn kind of that color, bring it all together. That's a good indicator that you're getting ready to have it all cooked together for a few minutes here. And that garlic just smells awesome too. Do is just kind of pat this down, pillow it. I call it making a pillow, and just kind of let it. It's cooking on the bottom layer, and then everything up from that is kind of getting a nice steam. So it's softening up, and it's obviously cooking a little bit, but you know, I've said this before, I'll say it 100 more times too. I'm not like a professional cook. So if you are, I'm probably royally screwing this up as far as my terminology. And you probably know 1,000 better ways to do this than I do, and that's fine. Go ahead and make some YouTube videos so I can learn too. Big proponent of cleaning as you go. I've got plenty of oil down here. I'm going to get some of the grease back into this scrap. Give this a quick flip. And after I've kind of, at this point in the cook, realistically, all this stuff is done. It's just kind of just a matter of how well done you like your stuff. Like, I like my onions with a little bit of snap to them. And I could keep this on for, I could pull it off right now, or I could keep it on for another 10 minutes on this low heat. It doesn't really matter, because it's all pretty much done. I am going to keep it on for a little while longer. Let it keep going. So the other thing too is, I am going to do eggs over here. I think I mentioned that before. And I'm probably going to cheese those eggs. For cheese, I use Kraft singles because it's cheap and it just makes really good melting cheese. And I call it nuclear cheese because it's totally not like real. It's probably made in a lab somewhere, but I like it anyway. It's really good for melting, and especially for stuff like breakfast foods, it goes great. But the other thing I wanted to just bring up is I have had a couple of questions on like my Instagram, and I post these to Snapchat as well, and on my Facebook Messenger. People asking me questions about my outdoor kitchen island here. It's not really an outdoor kitchen. Like, there's no refrigerator here yet. There's no sink here yet. There could be in the future. It kind of depends on how I feel and what I'm willing to do all that. What I've done with the outdoor patio back here has been a lot of work so far. So now I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying it for a little while, and I can always mess with it in the future. But if anybody wants to see like a shot of the island and kind of what I did with it, you know, let me know, and I'd be happy to take a nice long video if you want to see. And I know what everything goes for as far as cost, and I know where I got everything, and so just let me know if you want to see, if you're interested, if you plan on doing something like this. And maybe I'm biased, but in my opinion, I did a pretty nice job with it because it worked really well, and I did take a lot of time to think it through for once. So let me know if you want to see that. I'd be happy to show you. So this stuff is pretty much where I like mine as far as how done it is. The potatoes are definitely going to be nice. They're not going to be too hard. They're definitely cooked enough, but they're definitely not overdone either. They're not burnt or anything. They'll be just soft in the middle and have a little bit of crispy outside. So I think I'm going to shut. All these burners are off, and we're going to rely on the residual heat to get these eggs going. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to move all this stuff over here, since all these burners are off, so that when I go to plate, everything is over here. My plates are just right there out of the frame, I think. Yeah. So that's where my plates are at. So when I go to plate this up, it'll just be closer. I won't have to grab it all the way from across the top. So for eggs, what I do, eggs are almost always last, no matter what your type of meal you're cooking. If it involves like a fried egg, just do it last. Eggs go super fast. So for For eggs, I make sure I start with a really not high grease. No animal fat. You don't want the animal fat for your eggs because it tends to make the different types of proteins stick. And you don't want that. So all I do is, this is pretty clean. I am going to cool it down a little bit. That's just some baking water. I'm just going to let that burn off. And that's just going to make sure everything's nice and cool. You're really not supposed to do that, because if you cool the top too fast and by force, you could warp the steel. But so far, I mean, nothing bad has happened to mine, so that's why I keep doing it. Or at least I don't know if anything bad happens to it. It cooks just fine the way I've been doing it. So let me just see what we got for a temp here. Yeah, 230. That should be fine for a couple of eggs. So I am going to prep my cheese first. Just get the, Kraft Singles nuclear cheese. Cheap, shitty, shiny cheese. It's the best. I know I'll probably get a stern talking to from somebody about that, but this is just what I use. You use whatever you want. I'll use whatever I want. How's that? So I do a little bit unconventional, but I do like using non-stick cooking spray for my eggs. I think it just works really well. I don't know if there's a rule surrounding that, but I don't really care either. Give it a crack. Let her go. I'm just going to do 2. I'll put a little pepper on these. Again, I don't use a lot of salt when I cook. I think if you want more salt, you can add it yourself. But personally, I really, really don't like when food is over salted. That'll make me completely walk away from a meal. I'm not sure if the frame picks up the plating. If it doesn't, it's not that big a deal. Nothing interesting is happening over here. I'm just putting food onto plates. So these eggs should be ready to give a quick flip. And then when those are done, like I said, eggs don't take very long at all. When those are all done, what I usually do is just slide them on top of that meal, and the yolk runs, and you got the bacon and the onion. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. Onion and the garlic and all that. With the runny yolk, it's a good time. Everybody likes it. And if anybody needed a quick trick how to melt cheese fast, there's still enough heat on here. I'm just going to do this, let that steam up. Oh, you know what? I might have had my heat a little too low, but we'll see what happens. Use the steam from the water to help melt the cheese. Let that sit for a few seconds. And that cheese is melted. Look at that. Movie magic. So there's one. That's a pretty good looking mess right there. Breakfast mess, breakfast stir fry, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure there's a name for this. I just don't know it. I don't think I came up with it, but it tastes really good. So that's why I'm showing you guys. I hope you make this. Like I said, especially if you're hungover, this would be great hangover food. It's a little bit greasy, so it'll really suck up all that bad alcohol from the night before. go. What do you think of that? If you guys like it, think it looks good, shoot me a like, subscribe if you want, leave a comment, or don't, that's fine too. And like always, thanks for watching.